Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's do this quick, I don't have a lot of time. Books you didn't know you need. So as some of you know, I have been on a meditation retreat, and after probably 43, 44 years of practice, of continuous practice, I can genuinely and honestly say that I have not yet found a better practice than Brahmavihāra, tranquil wisdom insight meditation. Okay, so in medias res, David Johnson, thank you for writing this book. I have written a book review about this one. Get this book. This meditation method is more transformational than anything I have tried before. I've been in Mahamudra, Sochen, Tantric Tibetan yoga, Tantric yoga, you name it. I've done Shaolin Kung Fu, Bagu Sang, I've done Chan, Zen. I'm a yoga master, Yoga Harya. I have done Franz Baden, complete. Book 1 and book 3 completed. I'm writing a book about the inner word at the moment, related to Kerning method and Franz Baden. I will not publish it. I don't have a lot of time. I found a particular way to work with these methods, and my problem is that I do mix the traditions. I have to, because the Western tradition simply doesn't offer anything, and I know pretty much everything. I have been a Rosicrucian for 28 years, a Martinist for 20 years. I'm a Knights Templar in the Masonic discipline. I'm a member of the Order de Temple de Jerusalem. I've done everything, almost everything, okay? The method I'm currently putting together, and that's the problem, how to put it together so that people actually don't get confused, is amazing. I found something which Kerning didn't know, what Baden didn't know, what, basically speaking, Weinfurter, Waltarius was touching upon, but they did not have the knowledge about the Eastern tradition. Like a lot of the stuff in these books is wrong. It's just wrong, forget about it. I wouldn't even read it. Some people recommend that you read it under a certain spirit. You do. It opens up Kerning method, it does. But I found a method which is so superior to anything these people have found, and that has to do with going into the Brahmavihāras. So I've been on a 10-day retreat, and I got very, very far this time. Now, in the Buddhist tradition, it is compulsory to not make any claims. So I have to leave it at that point. It's very difficult to explain to you what this method can do for you without making any claims, so I won't. Apologies for that, okay? This book gets you through all the 8 jhanas, through still mind, quiet mind, still mind, signless state, and beyond. That's all I'm saying. The book claims that, so I say that. Having said that, Delson Armstrong, thank you for writing this book. Delson Armstrong, as some of you might know, may be controversial at this point in time. So is David Johnson, so is Bhante Ananda, so is the whole method. I can say nothing but good things about all these people. I know people who have been on all the retreats of Delson Armstrong, of David Johnson. They came back with an enormous knowledge. I myself have been on 2 retreats now of Bhante Ananda, among many others. Get this book. First, start with the path to Nibbana. I hope you can see that. That is how to practice. Do this, watch Delson Armstrong's and David Johnson's videos, Bhante Vimalaramsi's video. This is the guy who invented this whole method, who brought it to daylight. Okay. What you have to do then is maybe do some online retreats, in-person retreats if you can do so. We have Bhante Ananda retreats here in Australia, highly recommended. Now, this book here got me into impersonal states. It's really hard to describe, and I don't have the time in this video. Apologies. Bhante Ananda retreats and books and methods. If you can, join an in-person 9-10, there's even the debate if we could have 12 or 14-day retreats with Bhante Ananda. There is a bit of a hiccup between David Johnson, Delson Armstrong, and Bhante Ananda. I mentioned this in this video, so if you come across that, ignore it. These things happen in the best families, and I can recommend all the people involved. Listen to Delson Armstrong talks, listen to Bhante Ananda's talks on Hard Dhamma on YouTube. Get some of his books. They're all for free as PDFs. So are the others, by the way. Delson Armstrong, David Johnson, all for free available in the internet. My apologies, I have to speed because I don't speed up. I don't have a lot of time. That retreat in Melbourne, end of last year, was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You can't afford not to do this. What you get out of this, in short, is completely getting out of the matrix. You will experience a love, peace, harmony, and this feeling of being in control and letting go of that control at the end. It's actually wrong to say being in control, to let go of things and experiencing a peace and harmony you've never experienced before. A few more book recommendations. Everything from Bhante Vimalaramsi. This is a small one. He's Moving Dharma 1 and 2. Well, do I have the other one? Moving Dharma. This is number 2. I have the number 1 somewhere. Get these books. Delson Armstrong's booklets. Craving, Birth, Not in the Right Order, Bhava, Being, it's 5 at this point in time. Clinging, Suffering. These 5 booklets on top of Delson Armstrong's book. Get them. This is the best stuff I have read and heard, and it is practical, applied in Theravada Buddhism ever. And I don't say this lightly. Bhante Vimalaramsi, another book. Get everything available. I think this is still all on Amazon. There's Bhante Vimalaramsi, A Guide to Tranquil Insight Wisdom Meditation. You know, the name to him might be debatable, but in my personal opinion, and in the opinion of many other people here in Australia, like there's a wonderful group of volunteers, in case you don't know and you're from Australia, around Sydney and also in Melbourne and now in Brisbane, who organize the best Buddhist retreats I've ever seen in my whole life. Yeah, and it's not only Bhante Ananda, it's a lot of, let's call them monks, let's not call them something as we shouldn't make any claims. People have gone very far in their journey of Buddhist meditation, okay? Bhante Vimalaramsi, all these books are Bhante Vimalaramsi. His approach is a little bit different. Like he has an approach where you use the breath and then the 4 Brahmavihāras. I would try both. And I have to come to a close because I actually have to rush off my little island home, okay? I wanted to make this quick video to actually start the year off in a good vibration. We are in for a lot of trouble, as you probably have realized, unless you live in under a rock or in a cave. Without meditation, the next 5, 6, 10, 20 years are going to be difficult. In particular, it depends where you're living. Okay, if you live on a remote island, it might be fine. But for a lot of you guys, life will be very difficult. You know, I can see this psychically. And we are in for trouble. Starting with last year and continuing. Like if you think of 1938, it didn't get better in 1940. You know what I mean? So this meditation method, in short, is so liberating, so transforming, like nothing else I've done in my whole life. You know, it's not that I'm advertising this having not experienced anything else. So I would recommend at this point in time, like I've been thinking about that, I'm going that far as not publishing my book, The Inner Word. I have a 2nd volume coming, The Living Word, but I have to completely rewrite these 2 books. I'm going as far as to say that my experience on the last retreat, even to some degree on the second last, with this particular method has completely restructured how I practice Franz Baden, and I still do. I use Franz Baden's book 3 every day. I do some of his 2nd book, for those who are informed what that means. And I've practiced the kerning method. I've now departed completely from a group where I think that they may have a lot of knowledge, but they haven't embodied and experienced and understood what they teach. That sounds harsh, but that's how I feel about it. I do mix the traditions, like these people don't, and I think that's the problem. Like the West has nothing to offer in comparison to the true Theravadan early Buddhist method, what comes probably relatively close to what Buddha really taught. Okay? I do agree that a lot of traditional Buddhism is false because it is orientated on the commentaries which have been written 1,000 years after the Buddha died, like namely the Visuddhimagga and the Vimuttimagga. And I would highly recommend to not practice anything in there, because they have been created on contracted by an emperor, written by highly accomplished yogis. And I'm a yogahari myself. I have achieved certain samadhis in the tantric yoga tradition. But this is a different practice. The Visuddhimagga is a tantric yogic grimoire. It's not what Buddha taught. If you follow the sutras, the original Pali sutras, the Pali Canon sutras, you will realize that what Buddha experienced under the tree, and it's clearly stated, it's not absorption. It is not absorption method. In the sutras, it is stated that this is not the path to liberation. Now, there are books like this one. Oh, here's my other Bhante Vimalaramsi book. Anyway, there's a lot of good Bhante Vimalaramsi stuff. Life is Meditation, get that one, and Moving Dhamma, part 1 and 2. Incredible stuff. Now, there are books like this. Brilliant book, but only in theory. There is nothing practical about it. And this is where all the other books shine. It is clearly stated in many books now that a lot of people realize that the method of Visuddhimagga absorption meditations leads you in states of extreme bliss, or have achieved these states. The first 4 absorption jhanas, I've achieved them. Okay, also the next 4 jhanas, the arupa states. However, it does not lead to liberation. I can tell you from my own experience, because I've practiced both. What I can tell you with certainty is that the practice most Buddhists do, whether it's Chan, Zen, Tibetan Buddhism, or in traditional Theravada Buddhism, is not what Buddha taught. And this is why so many Westerners eventually instinctively reject it. Get into the book of David Johnson, again, The Path to Nibbana, Delson Armstrong, A Mind Without Craving, Bhante Ananda's retreats and talks on YouTube, and Delson Armstrong's talks on YouTube. Start with this. You will not look back, believe me. Peace for everyone. Have a great 2026, a great start into this year. I don't have more time. See you and hear from you soon.